Welcome to the Too Posh Podcast.
I am Gabrielle. I'm a former New York Mafia princess, originally from Austria. I am the mother of 3 and the owner of Too Posh Boutique. And here with my beautiful co-host, Marcella, my daughter.
Hello, I'm Marcella. I'm a dancer, choreographer, model, and designer for Too Posh. And I say whatever the I want.
Hi, my name is Cruz. I am a stylist. I also own the Society Salon in the Design District, and I am a short little Mexican with a big personality.
What will they say next? Welcome to the Too Posh Podcast.
David Weiss, you are back with us. We're so excited. How are you?
Thanks for having me. And how did it go? How did your listeners take the idea of a flat Earth? You know,
it was very interesting because we started making little clips and putting them on our TikTok, and we have had quite a interesting people, and I always answer all the comments, and I found myself nonstop trying to defend you. And then I thought, well, what would be better than having you back and answer some of these critics' comments? And
that'd be great. On TikTok, you have different types of people. You have people that have never heard of flat Earth and think they think the Earth is a globe and are asking legitimate questions. Then you have what we call the anti-flat Earthers. These are people that are either paid or possessed to go out there and put as much confusion out there and as much nonsense, and to get people to get frustrated and quit because they don't want you looking over here. Look over there, aliens coming from outer space. You look over there, war. Don't look where you live. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy because the comments have been on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, and there was some where I was like, I literally said, I'm going to ask him to come back so he can answer these personally. So I thought we'll get you some to answer, and then if you want to discuss anything else that's important about all these subjects, you are welcome to do so as well.
I just want to say for the people that are listening now, if you think flat Earth is crazy, I did also. We all did. Every flat Earther has the same story, right? Oh my, flat Earth, a disc floating in space. Well, we're not a disc floating in space. Well, everyone knows it's a globe. The Greeks figured it out. There's so much proof. Boats over the horizon, seasons. I can't see Paris from New York, and all of this has been programmed into our minds. And when you actually look at it and think about it and actually apply science to the idea of seeing stars quadrillions of miles away, none of it holds up. And then once you see it, along the journey, you're going to throw up your hands and go, well, what difference does it make? It makes all the difference in the world. Not knowing where you are, not knowing your true power, not knowing that you're at the center of creation, not knowing that nobody has control over you other than in your imagination matters. Hidden technology, hidden food, hidden land, everything, it all matters. So I just encourage people, if you Google flat Earth, they're going to feed you what they want you to say. They're going to feed you nonsense. And the best place to find all the information is at flatearthdave.com. You can find everything there, right? But Google won't serve it to you. So let's go. Let's answer some questions and see what we can do.
Okay. You want to start, Gino?
I've got one for you here, Dave. All right. This is from Globe Stripe Back.
Oh, boy. And the biggest shill out there. The biggest shill out there. Go ahead. Hit me.
All right. So you flat earthers speak of flights. It's hilarious to begin with. They rely on navigation systems based on Earth being a sphere, use geodatic datum to collect distance and heading. On top of that, he is just being dishonest and cherry-picking the connection flight on purpose, ignoring the direct one. Winky face, tongue out.
Yeah. So this guy, literally, his whole life is dedicated to going out there and throwing out nonsense. If you think about it, we live on a ball. You should have an X, Y, and a Z axis, but we go with a latitude and longitude, 2 X and Y. That's a flat plane, right? Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. And now there's tons. I think he's referring to some of the long flights. I think we talked about the Santiago to Australia flight. And let me just pull up a couple things, because there's a thing that happens. They always make excuses for these flights, saying, that's just the route the plane has to go because they have to pick up other passengers. That's where their hub is. And that's not true at all. Quick example, we just had the World Cup and they left the World Cup and they flew over to Rome to get fuel before they flew to Buenos Aires. Now, Buenos Aires is about the same distance from Doha, where they started from, and the same distance from Rome. Why did they fly away? Right? But when you look at it on a flat Earth map, Doha, Rome is right on the straight line to Buenos Aires. Well, they can't pick up fuel in the middle of the ocean, so they have to stop here, get some fuel, and make that nice long trip. But I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to hit one or two real quick. There's a thing called emergency landings, right? Emergency landings throw all things off kilter. So there was a flight from New York. This was just recently to Auckland, New Zealand, and it was I don't know the distance. It was approaching New Zealand, and somebody had a heart attack or a baby or whatever. There's an emergency. They had to land, and they landed in Fiji, which was like 1,000+ miles away, and they got there in like 15 minutes. Okay, how did they travel 1,000 miles in 15 minutes? Right, but when you look at it on a flat Earth map, again, Fiji is directly on the straight line. Here's a zoom in. So they were literally right here. Emergency, bam, they just landed, right? They didn't go out of their way. They didn't go all the way over here. And it always works that way on a flat Earth, right? And just one more, because this will freak everybody out. There was one where a family was traveling from Hong Kong, and they were going all the way back to Europe, but they landed in Germany because it's a 12-hour flight. 4 hours into the flight, the mother died. Little kids, husband, they're all sitting together. Mother's dead in her chair. They can't revive her. She's dead. Okay. So they flew for 8 more hours and they didn't land, right? There are countless airports they could have landed at along this flight route that they told us that they were taking. But when you look at it on a flat Earth map, we find out why they didn't land, because they were over Russia. Two things would happen. If they landed in Russia,
What?
Russia would be the good guys. They'd be, oh, let us help. Of course, Russia, the division between countries is all a freaking put up. And the other thing is, people would say, what the hell are we doing flying over Russia? Well, Russia is on a straight line. This is where they went. They ended up landing here. At that point, 8 hours sitting next to your dead mom, they might as well just gotten them home to London. Okay. So there's tons of these. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings That Prove Flat Earth. There's a free PDF online, or you can find it on my website, flatearthdave.com. If you want the book, it's amazing. And there's 16 of these landings that 100% prove the globe to be a lie. All right. I'll try to keep my answers a little shorter because I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
No, go ahead. Estella, do you have one?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought
Bruce?
you were next.
I'm still in awe how like most of our listeners are kind of agreeing with you on YouTube. I'm checking it out, and
Are we live on YouTube?
We're not live.
Oh, okay.
but we are on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was checking it out,
Okay.
and there's only about 30 comments, but a lot of them are for it. But there is somebody, John Bailey, that says he's a curve buster. And he says
A
that
curve buster.
yeah, so he says that there's a $10,000 challenge on Facebook. Search
Oh boy.
where is the curve? Where's the curve?
Okay. Well, there is no curve. I mean, maybe this guy, I'm not sure who he's coming from. I say prove flat Earth, prove the curve, and you'll prove the globe. But there is no curve, and we can prove it. And you're wondering why there's so many comments. Look, this is just near me. These are probably less than 1% of the flat earthers. Okay. I'm showing you my app. It's called the Friend Finder. Let me just show you a quick worldview. Where are you guys? You're in Texas, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I can't even see Texas because it's buried. Okay. Look at all of these people. I would say 1% of the people that know about flat Earth have my app, and not all of them are blue dots on here because they haven't gone into the Friend Finder and created a username. So this is the fastest growing truth that has ever hit our world. And it is the most dangerous to the control system. So expect some turbulence in the near future. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you want to talk about the Nile River? How it goes 4,000 miles north, flowing. How that works?
Yeah.
on
Well,
a
so
curved
it's
Earth?
going. Yeah. So think about this: the mouth of the river is 4,000 miles. The amount of curvature is ridiculous. Okay. And you have to believe that that water is going to flow. How the heck does it go down? And here's the other thing. They say the spin of the earth, the earth bulges 14 miles high at the equator, right? Somebody recently did a calculation that the mouth of the Mississippi, just the Mississippi, should be higher because of that bulge than the beginning of the Mississippi, right? The mouth is the end of the river, right? The beginning and the mouth is where it comes out.
Marcella
So it
would
should
know.
be higher. It makes absolutely no sense. On a flat Earth, it just goes from higher land to lower land. That's it. I mean, long rivers prove that we're not on a spinning globe. I mean, there's a million things that prove we're not on a spinning globe. And once you actually look at them and break the lifelong programming that we've had, then you'll see it. Then you'll see it.
What would be the
Here's
point of the lie?
Why the lie? I said, that's what everyone asks. Why the lie? And the lie is because everything, and I mean everything you were taught in school is a lie. Everything, our history, the Wild West, no. The world was way more advanced in the 1800s than it is now. They have us dumbed down. They have us believing nonsense. They have put our minds in a prison, and that prison is the heliocentric ball. So what do I mean by that? So if you look at the world, and we are in what I call the Antarctic basin, right? So this is our world. It's a giant pond, the shoreline of our world. You need a shoreline on a pond. You need a shoreline on a lake. Otherwise, the water will flow away, right? Not on a ball, just on a lake. All water at rest lies flat, okay? All water lies flat, all right? Water at rest lies flat, period. And the Globers will try to show you a drop of water. Anything bigger than a gallon of water, okay? That's it. And the oceans are certainly bigger than that. So if this is our world, what's out here in these outer lands? What's out here? Well, it's off limits. We're not allowed to go there. So imagine this. Cut out this map of the world and cut it out between the white and the green there. And then we're going to take it and we're going to wrap it around a ball, okay? We're going to wrap it around a sphere. And when you wrap it around a sphere, what happens? You literally have shut people off from creation. You make them think that they live on a sphere floating in infinite space. So they can't even get their imagination out there. If they want to go beyond Antarctica, well, there is no beyond Antarctica. The only beyond is outer space. Outer space is scientifically impossible. Okay, you can't have a lumpy rock with smooth curved water with curved air adjacent to a void, adjacent to a vacuum. Scientifically impossible when you use your common sense, right? And so then they want us believing in aliens. All the news now, aliens, UFOs coming from ridiculous, incomprehensible distances. No. They're not coming from incomprehensible distances. I think they're very, very close. Let me show you one thing, and I'll let you get back to the questions. All right. Did I show you this map last time? This map was a map that was discovered in a Buddhist temple, 10 centuries old. It was published in 1910 in a Hawaiian newspaper. And it shows, here we are, and it shows all of these other lands out here. Now, Admiral Byrd, when he did Project High Jump out in Antarctica, he said he found lands bigger than the United States that no human has ever seen. On a ball, where are you going to put another United States beyond Antarctica, right? If you go beyond Antarctica, you're coming up the other side towards Australia or wherever. Okay, makes no sense. So we then went and we found we went on a there's cargo shipping tracking websites, and we found we were looking at one and we saw a bunch of ships hundreds of miles, 400 or 500 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica. Wait a minute, how does a cargo ship get inside 400, 500 miles inside the shoreline of Antarctica, right? Well, so you click on any of these vessels and you'll find all the information, the cargo, where they're going, the captain's name, everything. You click on one of these, the only thing we found was the length of the ship is gigantic ship, 580 meters wide, 580 meters long, and 80 meters wide or something like that, right around there. Gigantic ship, right? And that's all it said, other than it was registered on the nation of Kiribati. You ever hear it? Kiribati?
No.
So here is where Kiribati is, in the middle of the South Pacific, the middle of nowhere. You can't even see it. I had to put a pin on it so you can see it. I'll zoom in. The only way you can find it. You got to like zoom way in, and all of a sudden you'll see a friggin' sandbar, right? The United States, China, they're very interested in this sandbar. They say it's a very important trade route, right? This little island. China gave them $10 billion recently. $10 billion to these sand people. Okay,
people.
Because it's an important trade route. So here's what I suggest, right? So we'll go back to this map and we look forward here. Whoops, well here, I think it's a trade route to the outer lands, right? To other civilizations, other people here on flat Earth, not aliens from outer space, scientifically impossible, extraterrestrials from the extra terra beyond Antarctica. There's there's lots of books, lots of ancient stories, lots of stuff about lands beyond Antarctica, right? This makes sense. If you believe in aliens coming here and modifying man or populating the earth or interfering or giving us technology, that's insane. Just take those aliens, use the word extraterrestrial, put them on the extra terra beyond Antarctica, and they're extraterrestrials here on Earth, scientifically possible. All right. So just one other, we have some people poking around, and on that island, Kiribati, they have the Captain Cook Hotel. Captain Cook is famous for his trips around Antarctica, that he went 60,000 miles around Antarctica. Wait a minute. The equator, whoops, fall down. The equator is only 24,000 miles around. How the heck did he go 60,000 miles around here? And that's because this is not where you live. You don't live on a ball. You live on a flat plane. And there's a lot we don't know about this flat plane. But the absolute thing that all people that are looking into this agree 100%, we don't live on a ball flying through an infinite space vacuum. It's ridiculous.
David, I have a question for you real quick.
Go.
Is there anywhere like numbers of how many people believe in flat Earth, how many people believe in globe? And ever since people started looking into it, like flat earthers have, like you have now changed their mind. Is there numbers anywhere?
The numbers are insane. They're changing from the time you started asking that question to the time you finished that question. It's growing so fast. It's incomprehensible right now, and it's increasing speed, even with all of the censorship. Think about this. Google is hiding all the information. You Google the exact name of one of my videos, or even one of the most popular videos, A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions, and they're going to feed you nonsense. Well, wait a minute. That's not what I Googled. Why are they feeding me that? Right? And if you trust Google, truth might not be for you. Okay. So the number, a couple years ago, they did a survey in Brazil, just Brazil. All right. And they said about the shape of the earth, and over 10 million people said they don't think it's a globe. Okay. Now, you don't have to say I'm a flat earther, because this world, this realm, where we could be on a dielectric plane in the middle of a toroidal field. And that might be hard to describe as flat, but yes, it's a level plane. Level, flat is not a shape. It's a description of level and horizontal, right? Down is down for me. Down is down for you. Down is down for people in Australia. And they want us to believe, in complete and total nonsense. Right. So I was going to show you. I was trying to pull up a graphic without screwing up, but I can't find it. So go ahead. Go to the next thing.
Okay. So this was a couple of people commenting on that. If my pilot tells me the Earth is flat, I'm catching another flight. That was one. Pilot.
So that's because they think that they have first, people that say that, they're not chills or anything like that. They just are fully indoctrinated. They think they have no idea what their own model is. They don't realize that in their model, if the Earth was a globe, I would never get on an airplane. They don't realize that in their model, they are. If I could find my, there we go. That they're spiraling in 4 different directions through space. Right, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour, chasing the sun at over 500,000 miles an hour, while that entire system is going another direction. So you're on an airplane and you want to fly from North America down here while it's spinning, while it's spiraling, right? It's the craziest, scariest thing ever. Airplanes fly straight and level over an Earth plane. And by the way, we have videos coming out with so many pilot whistleblowers, but they all, oh my God, so many of them. It's actually, I think it's on the app. It'll be the featured video on the app this week, I think, this coming week. And there's tons where people ask these pilots. I was just on a flight coming back from Mexico. I was talking to the stewardesses up front. They were asking me about my trip and everything. And they asked what I do. And I told them what I do. And I said, well, I have an app. It teaches you about the Earth. And they go, you don't think the Earth is flat because we do. And I was like, really? And they showed me their Facebook group of all of their stewardesses friends.
What?
And or flight attendant. I don't think I'm allowed to say stewardesses anymore.
Oh.
Their flight attendant girlfriends. And they talk about flat Earth. They showed me all of their stuff that they're doing, posting videos and memes. They actually had one of my memes in there. And they said that they ask the pilots all the time, and most of the pilots say, I don't want to talk about it. They don't want to tell them, because if a pilot admits the Earth is flat, they get grounded, they lose their license, or they just lose their job. So there's tons. And on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, if you go to the frequently asked questions, you'll see, what about pilots, right? Where is it? It says, are all space no, that's all space agencies. Are all pilots and scientists in on it? One of the buttons there is about pilots, and there's tons of stuff about pilots and scientists. So that's just that comment is from a point of ignorance. We were all ignorant at one point until we learned.
So that somebody said the KLM pilot is Lydia Oversloot, I guess. When you look her up in the FAA pilots database, you will find that she's licensed for single-engine planes over land only. I highly doubt that she was ever a commercial pilot for KLM. When you listen to her speaking about gyroscopes, it becomes quite obvious that she's clueless.
That's not who I'm talking about. Under the pilots button, we have another one, a commercial airline pilot, and there's tons of pilots. I mean, it's absolutely insane to think that we could fly over a spinning ball. So let me show you. Where is it? So here is a flight. A pilot took this time lapse they're going from Germany to South America. Now, if you're flying from Germany to South America, let me just pause this. Okay. If you're flying from Germany to South America, so I got my map here. You're up here on top of the globe. Okay. Whatever. You're up here in Germany, somewhere over here. And you're going to fly. You have to fly down the globe. So when you're here, any stars that you see on the horizon should rise up and become to your zenith. When you go halfway down the globe, a star on the horizon should be a star at your zenith. But here's the time lapse, and these stars never went up. He's flying over. This is a really super fast time lapse. This is what they should see. This is an animation. This is what the globe dictates in an animation. So as you're going, all of these stars would be rising up as you're flying over, because your perspective to the stars. But in reality, that's not what happens. In reality, we get this. Reality shows you that we're on a flat, level, horizontal Earth.
Somebody asked, do flat earthers believe there are other planets? If so, are those planets flat or round? Why hasn't anyone gone to the ice wall and documented it?
Well, the second part of that question, why hasn't anyone gone to the ice wall and documented it, is absolutely ridiculous, because there's tons of documentation of it. Now, it's not a wall like the Game of Thrones. It's not anything like that. It's the shoreline of Antarctica. There's tons of pictures. There's tons of videos of the ice wall, if you will. It's not a wall. It's literally the shoreline of Antarctica, where most of the shoreline is, a 200-foot high cliff. So they want you to believe that this is the ice wall. This is the end of the Earth, but this is the shoreline of Antarctica right here. This is reality. Okay. And that's the higher land that keeps the waters in. That's it.
And then about the other planets, are those real or are those round if they are?
Yeah. So other planets, like for example, Mars. We're told that Elon Musk tells us, shows us these pictures. NASA and Disney show us pictures, and Werner von Braun. He's the Nazi scientist that was brought over to run NASA, and he wrote a book in 1957 about a group of people that went to Mars, and the leader of that group was named Elon. That's weird. Okay, is that some sort of mind spell, wicked programming? I don't know, but it's definitely not right. But if you look at Mars, our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. When you look at Mars through a simple Nikon P900 or P1000 camera or a simple telescope, you'll look and you see this pulsing orb of energy. Does that look like a rocky planet? Okay. Does that look like a rocky planet? Absolutely not. Right. And when you look at other planets, it's quite insane. And people see what they want to see. Okay. Right. So what planet would you say this is? What planet is that? Is that Venus? Is that Jupiter?
A
Is
frying
that
pan.
Mars?
A frying pan?
It's not a frying pan. Stop it. That's another photo I have.
Oh, sorry.
Is that Jupiter?
Who knows?
Or is that a meadow with ducks in it? Okay. The mind sees what the mind wants to see.
Wow.
Right. And NASA has this like big painting, and they painted on spheres. We have tons of images from NASA studios right there adjacent to Disney studios, where they have camera tracks for these things. Right. NASA, we got this picture in 2014 of Jupiter. Oh my God, look how beautiful it is. You see the storm that never ends. And these lines of clouds are going in opposite directions from a time lapse that they gave us from an alleged, space probe. But then 2 years later, they said, look, we saw the aurora, which proves that Jupiter has a magnetic core. Right. Look at this. I could have done this in MS Word, not even MS Paint. Okay. Right. And look at every single cloud is exactly the same. They just made it a little darker. Look at this cloud line, right? It's right there. Everything is that they're lazy, or they're revelation of the method. They're showing us, giving us a fighting chance to wake up and see the truth. So,
But
the
if you
answer
can
is
see other planets or whatever,
we can see lights in the sky. Here's something.
that they're round.
And Jupiter. Well, you think it's round. Jupiter is in the sky right now, okay, in the evening. So, and Jupiter is the easy way to spot it is just look at the path that the sun and the moon go. You'll see Jupiter. It's gigantic. It's the biggest, brightest star. It's as bright as the sun, but it's as small as a star, okay? And you look at it and you say, how the hell is that gas ball? Think about Jupiter. They tell us it's a dusty, dirty gas ball, right? And if you were on Jupiter, NASA says, well, you're so far from the sun would be like a tenth of the size that we see it from Earth. It would be very, very small. So you have to believe that if you're on Jupiter, if that small sun, that small, tiny star-sized sun is lighting up Jupiter, and then that light is bouncing off of that non-reflective surface, traveling all the way back to Earth, and you see it as bright as the sun in the sky, I'm sorry, you're not thinking. If you see that, there's a thing called the inverse square law of light. Every time you double the distance to a light, it gets dimmer and dimmer. Even if there wasn't the inverse square law of light, how is it reflecting the sun back to Earth as bright as the sun? Is Jupiter a mirror, right? Is Jupiter a mirror? So when we look up, the only thing that we can say about stars in the sky is that they're the lights in the sky, stars and planets, is that they're lights. We don't know anything about it. Let me ask you this. Is this the moon, the sun, or a star? Is it a sphere? Right? You don't know. You don't know. But if science told you that this is the sun or the moon, you'd be like, oh yeah, I kind of see it's a sphere. I kind of see, right? But if I move this forward, we can see that it's a train track and it's a train and it's not a sphere. Okay? Everything in the distance, the way our eyes work, everything turns into a sphere in our minds. Okay. So let me show you another one. Where is my, is it? No. This is, where is it? Okay, here we go. So this is a little experiment I did in my room. So I got a blue sheet hanging, and then that's my sky. And I have a square light 10 feet on the other side. Looks round, looks like the sun. It's amazing. It really does look like the sun. And I got Paige is to the left, right? So I'm over here and I say, Paige, where do you see the sun? And she goes, I see it right there. So I put a little X on the sheet and I moved over here. She's seeing the sun over there. I'm seeing it over here. We're both seeing a sphere. This is how we see the lights in the sky. It's nothing like they tell us. All right. So here's the other thing. Stop looking up at the sky where we can't go, we can't measure, we can't verify to prove the shape of the earth. You can prove it down here. It's right under your feet. We're not moving.
What about normal people who have really high-end telescopes and they can look really, really close and it's a circle?
It's not. You go look. I mean, just go look. That's not what they see. They see these pulsing orbs of energy. I mean, when you zoom in to a star or a planet, it's literally a pulsing orb of energy. I'm trying to pull up a quick picture for you. So here's what a bunch of stars look like. These are different stars zoomed in. And here's the other thing. If a star is light years away, which is hundreds of trillions and trillions and trillions of miles, how the heck can you zoom in on it and make it bigger? It wouldn't get bigger with 125 times zoom, right? I can zoom in on New York City and I can't quite see the windows on the buildings, but I can zoom in on a star and fill the whole lens. That makes no sense, okay? These stars are pulsing orbs of energy. In the app, on the frequently asked question, what about stars? Lots of videos there. Lots of videos there.
Somebody said YouTube. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
YouTube actually put a warning and linked the Wikipedia page stating that this is a disproven theory. Bruh,
Yeah.
even YouTube doesn't support this craziness.
Well, YouTube is owned by Google, and they are trying to protect the control system. And and the
no
fact that
question.
they don't tell you how it's an unproven theory, but their number one way is with the old story of Aristophanes from the Greeks, where he proved the Earth with his sticks and shadows. Are you guys familiar with the sticks and shadows experiment?
No.
Yes.
Let me explain it to you real quick. So Aristophanes said the Earth, the sun is so far away that the light comes in parallel, right? Because if you're infinite distance away, great distance away, all the light rays will come in parallel. But that's really weird because no one has ever seen parallel rays. We never see parallel rays. We see corpuscular rays. You know, when you look up on a broken cloud day with the sun, you see these rays come in. They're not parallel. But for some reason, Aristophanes apparently thought that the rays come in parallel. Why would he think that? And why would he think that there's an infinitely far sun when back at that time, they believed in a geocentric Earth where the sun was orbiting around the sphere Earth, okay? That you can't have an infinite far sun orbiting a tiny little speck planet, right? So that's problem one, problem two. But then when you actually look at his experiment, he said, I could see the sun as shadow in the bottom of a well. Therefore, the sun is directly over me. Hey, that's good logic, right? And then he sent his buddy 500 miles away who counted the paces. That's how he knew he was 500 miles away. Great counting. Guy got great attention. And somehow Aristophanes, back in 2000 BC, could communicate with him. According to our history, that's not happening. And his buddy saw, you've got the parallel rays coming in. And so there's no shadow here on his stick, and there's no shadow. There's a shadow here, and you could do some really good calculus and figure out the circumference of the Earth, assuming you have parallel rays. But the thing is, we don't have parallel rays on the flat Earth. We have a small local sun. Here's Aristophanes, no shadow. Here's his buddy, 500 miles away, shadow. And then if you do the same math, you'll find out the sphericity of this flat plane. Math describes whatever you want, depending on what variables you put in it. So that's not true. And this is a little experiment you can do at home. Just get 2 beer cans, 2 bottles, 2 lighters, hold a light over one of them and see there's no shadow, and you'll see a shadow on the other one. Then you could do the same calculus and figure out how spherical your floor is. Okay. Math is not reality.
So somebody said, ask them why it's cold at the North Pole, hot at the equator, and cold at the South Pole, and what is the cause? Is the sun shooting multi-temperatures with its rays? Ask them that when it becomes summer, Why a south-facing window allows shorter band of sunlight into the room, and ask them that when it's winter, why more sunlight stretches into the room.
Thank you for asking. It's my favorite question. Here we go. Okay. So you have your infinite far sun. You got the rays coming in, and they tell you, we have our winter because we're tilted away and the rays are spread. I don't know why, if the sun is bigger, how come all of those rays don't just hit the earth? They're like, when you look up at the sun in the summer, and if you tilt your head back 23.4 degrees, does your forehead freeze? I don't think so. Okay. And so we have the rays coming in. So as the earth spins, it should heat up around the point that's facing the earth. But for some reason, it heats up the equator. Look at it on a flat earth. And let me show you how that works. It makes perfect sense on a flat earth. Seasons absolutely prove flat earth. So pay attention, whoever asked that question. Here we go. So here on my app, I'm going to show you. I'll make it a little bigger. Let me make it bigger. I won't be able to point. I'm just going to be able to describe. So here we go. So if we look at this map, the center of the clock is the North Pole, the magnetic North Pole. All compasses point to the north. None point to the south. Interesting. Okay. So we have two yellow lines on there. The inner circle is the Tropic of Cancer. Okay. And the outer circle is the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. And so on December 21st, let's go on June 21st. Let me jump forward. So on June, the sun moves in and it's over the Tropic of Cancer. That's when the north has its summer, because the sun is close. Look at the sun coming around here. It's coming close to Texas, close to the East Coast, so over Miami, right? I'm in July. I went past June, so it's on July already. And that's why we have our summer. But Australia is having their winter because the sun is far away. 6 months later, in December, the sun is all the way out here. Australia, South America, Central Africa are having their summer, and it's far away from us that's why we're having our winters. So now think about this. You got to think about this. So let's say the two of us, you come here to Connecticut in February. Bad idea, but you did it anyway. And we're sitting outside. It's freezing cold, ice on the ground, and we're sitting 20 feet apart from each other, right? Because, we want to be safe, right? And and we're freezing. We're freezing, right? So then then somebody comes over with a giant heat lamp and holds it 10 feet directly over your head on a long pole. And you're like, oh, that feels really good. And you look up and you unbutton your coat, you take your coat off, your drink unfreezes. And I'm over, I ask you to point to that and you go, oh, it's up there. It's right up there. And then I say, oh, well, I see it over there because I'm 20 feet away. So I don't see it over my head. I see it over there. I see it lower in the sky for me, farther away. I could barely feel the heat. I was like, I don't feel the heat. Okay. So that's your summer sun. And that's my winter sun. It's lower in the sky. It's farther away. It's not coming towards me. So now that person walks over to me slowly. Takes them 6 months to get over there. Okay. And they don't lower it or higher. They keep it at the same height, 10 feet. And you watch that sun. You're going to watch it go down, 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 farther and farther. And you're going to get colder and colder. You're going to put your coat back on. I'm going to see it coming towards me, and it's going to get higher and higher and higher. And I'm going to take my coat off, and that's my summer sun. That's how seasons work. The sun migrates in between the two tropics, 6 months in, 6 months out. 6 months in, 6 months out. On the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, if you click the frequently asked questions button, there's a button called Seasons, right? You hit that button, and up will come a whole bunch of videos that Google doesn't want you to see. You can Google all of these by name, and they won't come up. You'll just get Flat Earth debunking videos. Why is that? Why is that? Okay. And the answer is because they don't want you to know, right? They don't want you to know that you have the power, not them. They don't want you to know that your mind manifests your world. Okay. They don't want you to know any of this because they will lose control over you. They keep you in fear with the news. They keep you locked in the matrix, which is the heliocentric model, right? It's a ball for your imagination, and you can't think outside of it. But once you understand that, the world may be something completely different. If I go here, what if the world was set up like this? Kind of like that other map I showed you. Here's other lands outside, extraterritorial, extraterrestrials, just from thousands of miles away, not incomprehensible light years, right?
David,
Right?
ever since
Again,
you said that, like, what do you
yeah,
believe? Like, do you the indoctrination and all that kind of stuff? The truth is, really, I mean, ever since you came on the show and Gino has told us so many things, and obviously with this crazy time the last 3 years, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't believe anything anymore. Like, I don't.
Same.
that's great. And here's the thing. Don't
Question
believe me.
everything.
Don't believe me. Question everything.
Question
Right.
everything,
Right.
yes.
Don't believe me. I'm just showing you what's been hidden. Go figure it out yourself. I watched all these videos about flat, and I'm like, holy crap, I think the earth is going to be flat, but I'm not going to claim that until I go test it myself. Bought a P900, went out to the beach, zoomed in on things that should be well below the curve. Well below the curve. And I'm like, okay, we can see too far. All right. Well, the earth isn't flat. It's just a bigger ball. So then we started citing things that we can actually check their distance and, how much should be hidden. And we're like, for that ship that we're seeing, underestimating its distance, just giving the ball every benefit of the doubt, the earth should be 1,000 times bigger than they tell us, right? If the earth is a ball 1,000 times bigger, that's still a problem. Okay. Right. You heard that just the other day, they found 7,000 new islands in Japan.
I didn't hear that. What?
We don't know anything about what's going on here. Anything.
Right.
Right.
No, we don't know anything, and I don't
Google
believe
that.
anything.
Google that.
I would.
Question.
Go ahead.
So we can't use Google. You're telling someone that's totally unbiased. They're like, I don't know which way to lean,
Yep.
right or left. In this
Yep.
case, not politics, but right or left on the globe or the flat Earth. They can't use Google. They can't
Yep.
use scholastic
use NASA.
education. They can't use your information. Where do they go?
Well, you can go out and do it yourself, man. Measure yourself. We have again, we've done the work for you. We've put it on videos. We've put it online. It's still online. Thank God. Thank Google. I got to tell you, we're using their products to get the information out. You won't find it on your own, but if you hit the web button and scroll down to experiments right here, right? Here's a whole bunch of experiments that have done for you. Go out and do them yourself, but let us show you how we did them. Let us show you how we documented them. Let us show you the military whistleblowers that talk about it. Let us show you how we took a mirror, put it on the beach, and reflected the sun to somebody that there should have been, I forget how much, 100 feet, 200 feet of curve between them. Okay. There should have been, I think one of them was like 80 feet. 80 feet. That's an 8-story building, right? If you were on one side of an 8-story building and I'm on the other, do you think I could signal you with a mirror? No. Okay. But it should be over there. There's tons of these experiments. We've done them for you. Check them out and then go do one yourself.
Somebody said it's interesting that they question the photos of Earth taken from space, yet to this day, they have yet themselves have zero photographic evidence backing their claim.
Well, that's absolutely not true. We have tons of evidence, but you can't take a picture of the flat Earth. We can't get up high enough. There's no way. I mean, we can get up to 120,000 feet is where balloons max out. Here is where is it? So this is. Look how high this is. Look how friggin' high this is. This is 120,000 feet. So check this out. The state of Kansas is just over 400 miles wide. Do you know how much curvature there is? If you're on the one side of Kansas and you drove to the other, okay? You're driving, you're on one side of Kansas. Let's say you're at the top of the ball. You have to drive down the ball, okay? The other side is 20 miles of curvature. This is 20 miles. This balloon is 20 miles high. So in Kansas, there's a hump that goes this high into the sky from one end to the other. You can't even wrap your mind around that concept because it's ridiculous, right? Not you, everybody. Okay. I'm not picking on anybody because it's all nonsensical. And this is how they get you. The numbers are so big, the distances are so far, and the calculations are beyond your ability. So you just go, I just have to trust the lying guy in the bow tie, Okay. And it's all nonsense. It's pseudoscience.
Man, that's crazy. I remember in elementary school when they were teaching about this science and history, and I remember them saying how Columbus discovered America, and that's kind of how, they realized that the earth was round, and that apparently people believed that the earth was flat, years and years, long time ago, and that they're in different tribes and all across the world, that there's still like ancient tribes, like there's still like carvings and stuff of a flat earth, and
So,
and I was
yeah,
gonna say,
go ahead, finish.
and I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say it's kind of like a spiritual thing, like back then, like how like you would give to the earth and it would give back, and then nowadays
We,
all that spirituality is just kind of canceled, and I feel a lot of
right.
satanic is upon us, and I feel that it's all kind of linked together.
It is all linked together. The globe lie is the satanic lie. There are so many. There's a list of 666s in the mathematics of the globe and the planets. It's unbelievable. Like if one thing, the tilt of the Earth is 66.6 degrees. All right, that's interesting. There's 100 of them. Okay, and like what the heck is going on here? This is supposedly built before power tools and cranes and everything. I mean, there is a civilization here just 150, 200 years ago, beyond what anyone can imagine. Okay. And they're lying about all of it. And when on the app, if you hit the web button and you scroll down to lost history right here, tons of videos. Careful, if you click that button, bring food and water, call in sick to work because you're not going anywhere. Right. There's
my gosh.
tons of information. I want to make a plug here for something that's coming up on March 17th and 18th, which is probably in a couple days from when this airs. We're having our second summit, right? It's called the True Earth Mount Meru Summit. This year, it's called the Equinox Summit, and it's 2 days of amazing speakers, all coming from a flat Earth perspective. It's going to be a great show. You can go to temms.live. You're not going to remember that. I'm going to give you an easier website to remember. Check it out. And it's a full day, Friday and Saturday. And if you can't watch the whole thing, it's all right. You have access to it forever, so you can go back and watch it again or watch what you missed. It's going to be amazing. You can interact. It's an amazing place. I challenge, there's nobody that can watch the conference, join in the chat, and can walk away a globe earther. Absolutely not. You can find everything. You can find my app. You can find ways to book me on your show. You can find the summit. You can find the book, Emergency Landings. You can find the crash course. You can find tons of resources. Everything is at flatearthdave.com. That's the only website you need. Flatearthdave.com.
So cool.
And check it out. Come to the summit. All right. It's $50, which, these summits cost $200, $300, $400, $500. This is $50.
Where is it at?
Okay. It's online. It's virtual.
Online.
It's on.
Okay.
It's on. It's online, and you watch it online, and you can interact in the chat. And the VIPs will be in a Zoom call for the question and answer. I'll be on the question and answer, I think, Friday night with some great guys. There's comedy. There's music. It's really a fun weekend, and there's no way you can walk away. If you're a flat earther already, you definitely want to go. If you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Trust me, this changes your life. Most people, when they seriously engage you in a globe versus flat conversation, and you say, okay, seasons, boom, I bust seasons. Hey, sunsets, we can talk about that if you want. I bust sunsets, right? We go all the things. If they're intelligent, they'll throw up their hands and they'll go, why the lie? And the lie, why the lie? I still have to go to work on Monday. That's a pre-programmed response that everybody says.
Mhm.
I still have to go to work on Monday. I said the same thing. Well, guess what? I don't do this for the money, but I don't have to go to work on Monday. Okay. I had my own company. I was doing super well. But now I'm talking to people like you, spreading this word. And I can't even read all the emails I get of people going, I thought you were crazy. I finally looked. I saw your interview here. I saw you on whatever. I'm going to be on the James English show tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern. It's pre-recorded, but it's a live premiere. Anybody listening? Oh, that's actually too late. This is airing after.
But they can go watch the recorded.
Yeah, you can watch it. But on the app, and also on the app, there's links to the summit, so you can find it. But on the app, if you click the web button, right here are all my interviews. When this one comes out, it'll be on the app. It'll be on the top of the list. Right? You click that button, up come interviews that they don't want you to see. Right? And I've got close to 1,000 of them in here.
So
right?
I have to tell you that as many people that are critical and said some of these comments, which there are more, there's also many that are agreeing with you. I want to make sure that is said. And I thought it'd be really fun if we end this show and we add up all the points for how hardcore of a truther you are. Do you mind if we do that real quick? I'll read the questions. And you guys, 1 point for each answer that you think
Are we
is
going to
true.
all add up our points?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Climate change is a hoax.
YouTube friendly.
And we're saying true or
I have to be
false?
YouTube friendly.
If you believe it,
Wait, is that like the
You mean man-made climate change is a hoax?
sorry, is that when they say like global warming or something? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a
Oh,
flag, red flag.
Yes. Gotcha.
1,000%.
dinosaurs are a hoax.
1,000%. Absolutely.
The dinosaurs are a
Dinosaurs.
hoax.
The Earth is
Dinosaur-
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us
Yeah,
about the dinosaurs. I have no idea.
If you go to stoplookthink.com, go to the dinosaurs tab under hoaxes. There's tons of videos there. The first guy, so in all of history, the pyramids, all of the ancient civilizations that I was showing you, no one had ever found a dinosaur bone. In the 1800s, some royal guy writes a paper saying that theorizing the idea of dinosaurs. No one has ever found a single dinosaur toenail. Okay, nothing. Right? And a year later to the day, he discovers the first dinosaur. Okay? What? And in all of the time since then, all the dinosaurs that have been found, no one's ever found a head. No one's ever found a full skeleton, nothing. All the dinosaur bones in all the museums are made in China out of chicken bones. Okay? None of it is real. The real bones are too radioactive, right? They find a whale bone, the spine, a vertebrae bone on the top of a mountain. They say it's a dinosaur. Well, top of the mountain, what does that mean? How did it get there? Well, there was a great flood. So all of it is speculation. I challenge you, go get a Stegosaurus doll, 2 of them, and tell me how they mated.
Okay. Number 3, the Earth is flat and motionless.
100,000%.
4, vaccines are harmful.
No, hold on. We got to keep this YouTube friendly. So let's just say infection by injection.
Ah.